Yo, I just want to talk about self-belief and stuttering right now. Self-belief is half the battle, at least, to overcome your stutter. I would have not have, there's no question about it. I would have not have overcome my stutter if I didn't believe I could. There's no fucking question about it. I've told this story many of times, but I want to tell it again. When I had the epiphany that I could overcome my stutter was at the lowest point of my life. It was at the point in my life where my speech was at its complete fucking worst. I was crying. I was contemplating suicide in my bed late at night. It was after a day of university that my speech was completely terrible. I got laughed at. I was contemplating suicide. And in the midst of my tears, an epiphany came to me, thank God. And what it was I remembered that I am really good at video games. All right, stick with me here. I am really good at video games, or I was. In NHL 14, I was number 2 in the world. It's a weird flex, but that's what came to my mind. And I'm like, why is this coming to my mind? The reason why is because I had the epiphany that one day I did not know how to play any video games. One day I didn't know how to do shit all. I didn't know how to hold a controller. I didn't know how to move a player, how to pass the puck, how to do any of that. But I learned. I learned how to do it. I have the ability to learn how to be great at something. And if I don't know how to talk right now, if I don't know how to overcome my stutter, it's within my DNA. I know for a fact that if I can learn one thing, I can learn another thing. That's a fact. It's in my DNA, and it's in yours too. You have been good at something before. You have learned to do something. Say I'm wrong, you've learned to fucking walk. You've learned to run. You have the ability to learn something. You have the ability to get better at something. You have the ability to grow, to learn. So you have the ability to overcome your stutter. And if you don't believe that, you will never overcome your stutter. But just so you know, you fucking do. Every single one of you. Unless you can't walk right now because you've never learned how to. Unless you can't talk, make sounds. Unless you can't articulate. Unless you can't throw. Unless you can't drink water. Unless you can't eat. Unless you've learned how to do it all. You have the ability to learn how to do something. You have the ability to overcome your stutter. And say for example that all this is bullshit, and say that out of nowhere this number appears that only 2% of people can overcome their stutter. I just made that up, but say someone told you that one time. Does that make your odds worse to overcome your stutter? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely not. Because let's change it from stuttering to law school. Let's say only 5% of people finish law school. I'm sure it's not that low. I know it is low though. Say only 5% of people finish law school. What is in those 5% of people that finish law school and the other 95% that don't? It's the self-belief. That is it. That is it. Once you have the self-belief that you can get to this end goal, that you can overcome something, that you can do something, you have that self-belief in you, the problems, the hardships, you don't view them as setbacks. You don't view them as something to overcome. You don't view them as, I hit a hardship, I hit a setback, this is it. I'm done trying. Once you have the self-belief, the knowing that you can overcome it, the knowing that you will overcome it, those setbacks, those hardships, those times when you get really down, those times where you stutter completely and don't make any sense and you embarrass yourself, those are no longer going to have the same power on you. They're no longer to make you stay stagnant. You will find ways to persevere. Once you have the self-belief, it opens up the door of perseverance, of creativity of creativity to get through problems that you would not have unless you would have had the self-belief that you can. You never know what's on the doors unless you open them, on the other side of the doors unless you open them. To make sense of that the law school situation I was telling you about, that 5%, they have the self-belief that they can. So that hardships, the mounds of homework, the times where they don't feel like doing anything, the self-belief is so strong that they will find ways. Same with your stutter. Say it was only 1% of people can overcome their stutter. You will be that 1% if you have that self-belief, because the times where you want to quit, the times where it will make everyone quit, if you just believe you will get there. You have 100% certainty you will get there. Those setbacks, those hardships will no longer be setbacks and hardships. It will be setbacks and hardships for the other 99% of people that don't go through with it. But you have the ability to. Know you have been good at something before. Know you have the ability to learn something. Know it is possible to overcome your stutter. I have done it. Many of other fucking people have done it. If one person can do it, other people can do it. Self-belief. If you don't have self-belief, you will not overcome your stutter. Believe you can, and you will. I love you. Peace.